Pull out your phone right now. Go to your bank app. Filter your last 3 months of transactions for anything that repeats. Streaming services, fitness apps, cloud storage, news subscriptions, software tools you signed up for during a free trial and completely forgot about. That meditation app you opened twice in January, the premium version of something you could use for free. Most people who do this exercise find somewhere between 8 and 15 active subscriptions they're paying for every single month. A few find more. Almost nobody finds fewer than they expected. Here's what almost nobody does next. They don't multiply those numbers out. They don't ask what this is actually costing them, not just this month, but over a year, over 5 years, over a decade, and more importantly, what that money could have been doing instead. That's what we're doing today. And I'll warn you up front, the number at the end of this is going to be uncomfortable. Not because subscriptions are evil or because enjoying things you pay for is somehow irresponsible, but because the specific way subscriptions are designed makes them almost impossible to evaluate honestly. And that design is not an accident. My name is Jonas, and I have a genuinely unhealthy relationship with other people's finances. Why some people build wealth almost by accident while others stay stuck no matter what they earn is basically all I think about. If you've ever looked at your bank statement and felt that specific low-grade confusion about where your money went this month, hit subscribe and drop a like if this ends up clarifying something for you. Now let's actually run the math nobody runs. The average American household is currently spending somewhere around $230 per month on subscription services. That number comes from multiple consumer spending surveys, and it's been climbing steadily for years as more industries have shifted to the subscription model. In 2020, that number was closer to $180. In 2022, it crossed $200. Now we're sitting at $230, and the trajectory is still moving upward. $230 a month. That sounds manageable. That's less than most people's car insurance. It's less than a typical utility bill. It doesn't feel like a big number when you encounter it month by month, because you never encounter it as a single number. You encounter it as $11 here, $15 there, $9.99 somewhere else, and a $40 annual charge you forgot about until it hits in February. That's the first layer of the subscription trap, and it's the most important one to understand. Subscriptions are deliberately priced and structured to fall below your mental threshold for scrutiny. There's a term for this in behavioral economics called the pain of paying. It refers to the psychological discomfort people feel when spending money. Cash purchases trigger it strongly. Credit card purchases trigger it less. And automatic recurring charges trigger it almost not at all, because you never actively make the decision to spend the money. It just leaves, silently, every month, without ever asking you to consciously approve it again. The companies building subscription businesses know this. It's not a side effect of the model. It's the point of the model. When you sign up for something, you make one active decision. Every renewal after that is passive, which means you're spending on autopilot indefinitely until you make another active decision to stop. And stopping requires friction. Finding the cancellation button, navigating the "Are you sure" screens, sometimes calling a phone number. That friction is also not accidental. So you end up with a portfolio of small recurring charges that you never collectively evaluate because you never see them as a portfolio. You see them one at a time, spread across different billing dates, labeled with different company names, and each individual one seems reasonable enough to let slide another month. Let's look at what this actually costs in real categories, because this is where the number starts to build. Streaming video. The average household subscribes to 4 streaming services simultaneously. A main platform, a sports package, something for the kids, something picked up for one show that never got canceled. Average monthly spend across those 4 sites around $70. Music and audio. A streaming music service, maybe a podcast app with a premium tier. Call it $12 to $15 monthly for most households. Cloud storage and software, phone storage upgrades, productivity suites, a password manager. These feel almost mandatory because your devices prompt you to upgrade constantly. Average spend around $25 per month. Fitness and wellness. A gym membership used inconsistently. A fitness app, maybe a meditation app. Industry data puts the average at roughly $35 combined per month across those categories. Food and delivery. Grocery delivery memberships. Meal kit subscriptions. These have exploded in recent years. Average monthly cost for households that have them sits around $40 to $45. News, information, and learning. 1 or 2 digital news subscriptions, a newsletter, maybe a learning platform, around $20 to $25 monthly. Everything else. Software trials that became paid plans, gaming subscriptions, a VPN, A loyalty program joined for a one-time discount. This catch-all bucket runs around $30 to $40 per month. Add those numbers up and you land right around $250 per month, which aligns almost exactly with what the spending surveys are consistently finding. Now here's where we run the math nobody runs. $250 per month over 1 year is $3,000. Most people, if you ask them right now, could not tell you they're spending $3,000 a year on subscriptions because they've never seen it as a single number. They've only ever seen it as a Tuesday charge from one company and a Thursday charge from another. Over 5 years at the same flat rate, that's $15,000. But subscriptions don't stay flat. Prices go up. New ones get added. The average price increase across major subscription platforms over the last 3 years has been between 15 and 30% per service. The realistic 5-year number, accounting for price creep and a new subscription or two, is closer to $18,000 to $20,000. Now, the number in the title. Over a decade, with realistic price inflation and typical household behavior, the average person spends somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000 on subscriptions. $38,000 is the defensible midpoint of that range. $38,000. That's more than the average American has saved for retirement by age 35. It's more than the annual salary in several states. It's enough for a real down payment in a significant number of housing markets. And invested in a simple index fund at 7% annually, that same money becomes roughly $54,000 over 10 years without adding another dollar. That's the real cost. Not $38,000 spent. It's $38,000 spent plus the $54,000 it could have become. The true cost of your subscription portfolio isn't what leaves your account. It's what never gets the chance to grow. Now, I want to be clear. This is not an argument to cancel everything and live like a monk. That's not a financial strategy. That's just misery with a better savings rate. The question is not whether subscriptions are worth anything. Some absolutely are. The question is whether you've ever evaluated them as a collective financial decision, or just as a series of individual sign-up moments you never revisited. Here's a framework that actually works. Once a year, on the same date, pull up every recurring charge across all your cards for the last 3 months. List them all in one place. For each one, ask 3 questions. Have I used this at least once in the last 30 days? Would I notice if it was canceled within a week? And if I had to sign up again right now knowing what I know, would I? That third question is the most important one. It forces you to make an active decision instead of letting inertia decide for you. Most people cancel 2 to 4 subscriptions immediately when they actually do this exercise. At an average of $15 per cancellation, that's $30 to $60 freed up monthly. Invested over 10 years, that's between $50,000 and $100,000. From 1 hour of intentional attention once a year. The subscriptions are not the problem. The autopilot is the problem. You've seen the number now. $38,000 over a decade is what passive looks like. Run your own number. It will almost certainly surprise you. And whatever you do with that information, spending intentionally, instead of by default, is worth more than any single subscription you could cancel.